All right, let's dive into something that's, let's be honest, one of the scariest but most powerful parts of any construction contract, knowing when and how you can legally walk away. Today, we're unpacking Clause 16 of the FIDIC Red Book 2017 that's all about suspension and termination by the contractor. And we're using Michael D. Robinson's amazing Guide to the FIDIC Conditions of Contract as our roadmap. We are going to make this super simple. Let's do it.
Just picture it for a second. You're out there, building something incredible. Your team's working hard, materials are showing up, you're making real progress, and then the payments just stop. The cash flow just dries up. That is a contractor's absolute worst nightmare, isn't it? You feel trapped. But here's the thing, you're not. The contract itself actually gives you the keys to get out.
Now, I know what you might be thinking. Oh great, FIDIC clauses, legal jargon, this is going to be a headache. Nope, forget all that. Here's our promise to you. We are going to break this down so simply you could explain it to a 10-year-old. We're taking that dense contract language and turning it into a simple, straightforward toolkit you can actually use.
So the money stopped coming in. What is your first move? You don't have to go straight for the nuclear option. The contract gives you this really powerful first step, kind of like a warning shot. Think of it as your very own contractual pause button. This is what we call suspension, and you'll find it in Clause 16.1. It is your legal, contractual right to stop all work when the employer isn't holding up their end of the bargain, the most important part, paying you. This isn't just you walking off the job in a huff, it's a formal, protected process designed to get their attention and hopefully fix the problem.
So what actually lets you hit this pause button? Well, the contract gives you 4 crystal clear triggers, and as you can see, it's pretty much all about the money. If the engineer doesn't issue that interim payment certificate, the IPC, or if the employer won't show you proof that they actually have the money to fund the project, if they just flat out fail to pay, or if they ignore a decision from a dispute board, boom, you have the right to act.
Okay, but you can't just stop work the very next day. There's a process, and it's actually really important you follow it. First, you have to send a formal notice. That starts a 21-day clock. This is basically giving the employer a fair chance to fix their mistake. If, and only if, after those 21 days the problem still isn't solved, then you can legally and safely suspend the works.
And here is the absolute best part. If you're forced to suspend work, you get paid for the hassle. The contract is very clear. You can claim any extra costs you run into because of the suspension, plus your profit on those costs. So the contract makes sure your bottom line is protected, even when everything's on pause.
But what if pausing isn't enough? What if the problems are way bigger, the relationship is broken, and things just can't be fixed? Well, the contract also gives you an exit door. This is termination. This is your right to walk away for good.
Now this is really important to understand. Not all reasons for termination are the same. They basically fall into 2 buckets. For the stuff in Category A over on the left, like not getting paid or a major breach, you have to give a 14-day warning notice. But for the really critical stuff in Category B on the right, we're talking bankruptcy, corruption, or if they try to sell the project without your permission, you can terminate immediately. No waiting around.
I want to pause on this quote for a second because this is golden. Termination shall not prejudice any other rights of the contractor. This is so important. It means that just because you're ending the contract, it doesn't mean you're giving up your other rights. You can still claim every penny you're owed and pursue any other legal action you need to. This clause is your shield.
Okay, so you've made the incredibly tough call. The contract is terminated. What happens the very next day? It's not as simple as just packing up your tools and leaving. There's a professional process you have to follow.
The contract basically requires a clean, orderly exit. You stop all work unless something is critical for safety. You hand over all the documents and any equipment the employer has already paid for. Then you remove all your own stuff, your goods and equipment, and you leave the site in a safe condition. It's all about a professional handover, even when things have gone south.
You've done your part. You followed the rules, you left the site the right way. Now, for the reason you took this huge step in the first place, making sure you get the money that is rightfully yours.
And the contract is really specific about what the employer has to pay. They have to pay you for every bit of work you've already done. They have to cover the costs you had because of the termination. And here's the big one. They have to pay you for your lost profit. This is a massive protection for your business.
Whew, okay, that was a lot of info, I know. So let's just boil it all down into a really simple, quick summary of your Clause 16 powers. This table really just says it all, doesn't it? Suspension is your pause button. You use it for financial problems, and you get paid for the delay plus profit. Termination is your exit door. You use it for major, serious issues, and you get to walk away and still get paid for your work, your costs, and your lost profit. Two different tools for two different levels of trouble.
All right, let's see what you've learned. Time for a super quick pop quiz to make sure all this is sinking in. Don't worry, it's just one question.
So think about it. The employer won't show you proof they can pay. Can you just terminate the contract and walk away that same day? True or false?
The answer is false. If you got that right, fantastic. Remember those two categories we talked about? Not showing proof of funding is a big deal for sure, but it falls under category A. And that means you have to give that 14-day warning notice first. It's not an instant exit.
So look, if you only remember a few things from today, please let it be these 4 points. 1. Clause 16 gives you a pause button and an exit door. 2. They're almost always triggered by money problems. 3. Those notice periods, 21 days and 14 days, are not optional. They protect you. And 4. Termination is designed to make you financially whole, and that includes your lost profit.
We really hope that made Clause 16 crystal clear. But hey, contracts aren't just about getting paid. What happens when things go wrong on the actual site? Well, in our next explainer, we are diving deep into Clause 17, Care of the Works and Indemnities. We're going to find out exactly who is responsible when things get broken or damaged. You are not going to want to miss that one.
Now it's your turn. If this was helpful for you, please do us a favor and hit that like button. And hey, if you felt like we missed something or it wasn't useful, hit dislike. We want the honest feedback. Either way, drop a comment below and let us know what you think, or ask any questions you still have about Clause 16.
And of course, if you want more of these explainers that take really complex contract stuff and make it simple and powerful, make sure you follow and subscribe so you never miss another one.
So we'll leave you with this final thought. Knowing this stuff is one thing, but using it is what really matters. Now that you understand your rights under Clause 16 a little better, how are you going to use that knowledge to protect your projects, your company, and your team? Thanks for tuning in.